So I bought an exhaust for the G87. So for the last 6 months that I owned the car, there's been one complaint that I've had, and that's the sound factor. The car doesn't have any. The stock muffler is an absolute vacuum cleaner. You have a huge diaper at the back. Sport mode, Sport Plus, doesn't matter. You get no sound. That's where this comes into play. So the setup that I went with is a full stainless steel exhaust system, which starts with a valved muffler, which feeds out to black on carbon fiber tips, which come all the way up to a single mid, which comes back all the way to the downpipes. And if you noticed, it's a valved system. So when the valves are open, it's technically a full straight pipe. Closed, quieter than stock.
We were so excited to install this exhaust that we just wanted to start on it right away.
So instead of me and David just getting, plain stickers on the side saying our Instagram or YouTube, all that, Play Guys picked us up with some awesome custom license plate covers. They're different, they're made out of metal, they're not your typical plastic. So if you guys are looking to get your own custom license plate frames or even custom license plates, not for road use, make sure you hit up the Play Guys. Check out our Instagram link for more information.
But right before we get that exhaust on, let's just do one last stock startup. It's not bad, but it's gonna sound a whole lot better.
So a first time thing for me and David is instead of keeping the car just on a jack, we've got these race ramps going. David's under the car, getting rid of the sort of middle brace that holds up the exhaust. And technically it should be a relatively quick job. A few hangers, a few bolts, and then sort of just getting the new exhaust put together. We've been notorious for saying, hey, it's gonna be a quick job, and it ends up taking hours. So we'll end up seeing how long it actually takes.
Now, hopefully this install doesn't take nearly as long as some of our other ones, but it was definitely gonna be a challenge because we barely had any space under the car.
The great thing about Roman's car is that it's basically a brand new car. It has 10,000 kilometers, so nothing should be seized and everything should come off pretty easy.
And it's a case like this where we really wish we invested in some better tools like electric ratchets.
Definitely, but we'll make do.
We always make do.
So we decided we're gonna lift the car up a little bit more and slide some wood underneath just so we have a bit more clearance.
And when we're working around the downpipe, you definitely want the most space you can get because you want to be able to line everything up properly, be able to tighten it down. Having a leak coming straight out of your downpipe is not ideal. So you got the mid brace off. You got David underneath dealing with those exhaust hangers. Let me show you guys. If you could see down here, right there, there's a little red rubber part. Instead of just using screws to hold up an exhaust, we use things called hangers, which is basically a rubber flexible part which holds them steady but allows them to flex a little bit with, car suspension and everything without damaging the exhaust. But getting under the car and actually getting them off is beyond a hassle. On some of them that are at the back, I could just take the whole assembly off with a 10mm ratchet. So I think that's what I'm gonna do instead of using a hammer and sort of prying at it.
Now, unfortunately, those hangers did make things a little more complicated, but we ended up getting it done. So we just dropped the last hanger and the exhaust just completely fell on Roman, but we're slowly getting it on the floor.
There you go.
But thankfully, no one got hurt. So now we just slid some cardboard under the exhaust so that we could easily pull it out from under the car. And just like that, it came right out.
So just so you guys have an idea of how much more restrictive this exhaust is compared to the Catback system that I got. We got a huge diaper. We got not one, but two resonators. And we got two secondary cats, making it a total of 4 cats on this car. Still one more pipe we have to take out, which if you guys notice, on my exhaust, I have the mid pipe which just comes right up here, but on the factory exhaust, there's a crossover pipe which creates even more restriction that does a sharp 90-degree turn and couples onto the downpipe.
So there's definitely going to be a huge performance gain considering we got rid of all that restriction. Not to mention that the new exhaust is also considerably lighter than the factory one.
So that 90-degree pipe, we ended up not seeing 2 bolts that we had to take off. We took that off. Downpipe is not fully exposed. As much as we would want to get a clip of doing an open dump, we're in a neighborhood. It's 9 p.m. We might get the police called on us. Not ideal right now.
I think we should try it.
Oh my god, that's so loud.
It's not as loud as I thought it would be.
Dude, it's vibrating the whole house.
Oh my god.
Not as loud as I thought it was actually gonna
Alright.
be. That's so weird seeing my car do that because like, I don't know. I'm just used to it being like the vacuum.
Now that we got that out of the way and probably already upset the neighbors, let's just go ahead and start fitting the new exhaust.
Alright, first piece out of what, like 5 pieces is basically on. Just getting all of these nuts on here hand tight. And the rest is clockwork.
Or at least we thought. But we realized later on that it would actually get much harder than we thought. So we have to go ahead and wire up the actual box that controls the valves. But luckily, there is 2 little plugs like this on either side. So we're gonna take those out, put the box back here, and then run the wires down to the actual valve connectors. While I was doing that, Roman transferred the hangers onto the new exhaust piece. And then he bolted it back up to the car.
So there are these 2 plugs perfectly in the trunk, which David showed earlier. I'm sort of scared about water getting in since the battery's right there. So I think I'm gonna do a small little cut around them just to where I could feed the wire almost airtight through. It would just give me a nice peace of mind.
After we ran all the wires, we thought we were almost done because all we had left to do was install the rear muffler. But this is when we actually started struggling because no matter how hard we tried, we couldn't line up these 2 pipes. And we tried over and over and over again. So unfortunately, we just had no choice but to change our strategy and take it back apart. We decided that the best way would just be to build it all up off the car and then install it as one piece. Once that was done, we tightened up all the clamps and then gave it one more shot. Then we reconnected everything and thankfully it worked. The last step was to put on the exhaust tips and then we were finally done.
So it's 2 days from the day that we installed the exhaust. It was super late when we finished and it wouldn't be ideal to get shots of the car rolling at night. Parts of the install that you didn't see is that the exhaust seems to be sitting a bit lower than I wanted it to. We're gonna end up fixing it and figuring out ways to sort of have it sit higher in the near future. And another thing was the exhaust tips didn't fit right. I just went to a muffler shop, they cut an end of the exhaust tip and was able to press it in. Now it's all nice and flush. It's exactly how I want it. Now for what you guys clicked on the video for, here's some before and after clips of my exhaust.
So that's a comparison of the old exhaust to the new exhaust, and I am beyond happy. I can't believe the sound that it makes. Something me and David realized though was the sound on the inside compared to the outside is a lot different because of all the sound deadening that newer cars and newer BMWs have. So now with me outside of the car, I'm gonna get David to do a flyby just so I could hear what the car sounds like. Holy shit. Holy f. Holy shit. Oh my god, that sounds absolutely phenomenal. The sound from the inside and the outside are completely different, no?
Yo, I forget how fast this thing is too. Like, it's so much faster. It feels so much like zippier than like my M2, but yeah, the sound inside is like very muffled compared to outside, but it's also like a luxury car. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, honest opinion between the sounds on S55 compared to S58, I like both. I know a lot of people aren't huge fans of the sound on the S55. David's car sounds phenomenal, I think, but from the mid-pipe, the sort of low rumble that it gives, I really like as well. So I think it's safe to say that for me and David, this was probably the fastest job we've ever done, considering the size of the job. I think it all in all took around like 4.5 hours for us to be completely cleaned up and everything.
But overall, we're really happy with how the S58 sounds. I think that it sounds a lot different than what we were expecting, particularly because it's a lot lower of a tone than my car. We thought it'd be pretty similar. But yeah, it sounds awesome, and it was definitely worth it.
Summer's just starting, so we're definitely gonna have a lot more mods going on both of the M2s. Make sure you stay tuned for that. That's all we got for you guys. See you in the next one.